Welcome to Free Advice Friday. My name is Carrie Barnum for New Shelves Books, and we are here to talk about the business of being an author, publishing, writing, marketing, the whole shebang. We are so glad to have you with us. You are welcome to join us live any Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern by going to newshelves.com/FAF. If you can't join us live, you can watch the replays over on YouTube, which you can find us just at New Shelves Books on YouTube. So we are going to get started. We had a couple of questions emailed in this morning, as well as some other things that had just kind of come up over the course of the week. So we're going to jump in with those. And of course, anyone live can ask questions anytime they like. So the first question I have is from Cheryl. And Cheryl's question is about the new identity verification on Amazon. Really, it's KDP. So let's talk about that first. If any of you have gone into your KDP account and you've seen a notification asking for your verification, asking you for upload a copy of your license or passport, that kind of thing. It is legitimate. This is a new program that KDP has just put in place. And I actually think is a very good thing. Now, it's not required for all accounts at the moment. They're kind of going through and suspicious accounts or things that are raising a red flag are currently the ones that are being asked to verify. And new accounts may be asked to verify. So if you've had an account for KDP and you've been publishing for 10 years and you don't see a notification, nothing's wrong with your account, I promise. They're just not going through and verifying everyone. But what they are doing is, again, anything with suspicious activity, new accounts, they are requiring verification. And the reason why they're doing this is to stop spam, to stop people from creating multiple KDP accounts, which is against the terms of service. They are doing it to help stop people who are just flooding the market with bad generative AI copies of works and things like that. And they're trying to limit, honestly, they're trying to limit their work, because when you have a bunch of scams and you have a bunch of bad books put up and things like that, they have to go in and monitor them and pull them down. And it's really just a pain. And it also degrades the integrity of the KDP Amazon publishing platform. So that's why they're doing it. As far as how do you know if you indeed are getting a notification from Amazon requiring that you verify your identity, or how do you know that maybe you are being scammed? And the best way to know is that if Amazon does email you about the identity verification, do not click on any links. I can't stress this enough. Do not click on any links within the email. What I recommend you do is go straight to KDP, go to your browser, log into KDP on your browser. And when you log in, at the top of the page, when you log in on KDP, there should be a notification that says identity verification needed. It will be hyperlinked there. You can click on it. It will take you through the steps of what you need to do to verify yourself in your account. That is the way to do it. If it's not on your account, do not click on that link. Do not click on anything in an email. I am sure that scammers and spammers are going to use this as an opportunity to do what they do. If you do not, when you log into KDP, if you do not see that notification at the top of the page, then what you should do is you should use the contact button and contact KDP, letting them know you got the email and asking if it's legitimate and where you need to verify. That way, you are covered. You've done your due diligence. And these things do give you quite some time to verify. It's not something where like they send it to you on Monday and they're expecting you to be fully verified by Tuesday. They give you some time. So you do want to move on it. You don't want to just not do anything. However, you do not want to click on any link in any email. I'm just seeing so many people be scammed recently, honestly. And so don't do that. Don't fall for that. But anything that goes directly through your dashboard should be fine. Let's just see if we have any. Oh, all right. Yes. And again, if it's on there, you can fill it out. All right. So, another thing that actually was asked and is tied into scammers, unfortunately, is I have a client who was scammed, a Facebook scam, this week. So I just want to go over some of the ground rules for things to avoid, to not get scammed, to not have your accounts hacked and things like that. Number one, be wary of clicking any links in an email unless they're from a trusted source. Be wary of clicking links and putting your information in. Do not click a link and then sign into your account if it's not from a trusted source. You know the email, if it's, that's different. I'm saying if it's from someone like Meta, which is Facebook, if it's from Instagram, it is so much better to go directly to that platform and log in and look for any notifications there, or use the contact or help buttons to get help there, rather than clicking anything in email. The other thing that you can look for when you get emails to see if they're hackers essentially is look at the email address. Is it coming from at facebook.com or is it coming from a Gmail? Tell you what, Facebook does not use a Gmail account, so that's a scam. Looking for, and some of them get very creative. Some of them will do like, they will be coming from help at or help help.facebook.com. That's not Facebook. If you ever have a question, look it up and look for the actual domain name that these emails come from. But even more than that, like, yes, do that, but go straight to the account. I promise, if your account has been locked down, if your account has been tagged with an issue, it will also show up in your account, not just your email. So always do that. The other thing is the scam that the person I know who was hacked. This is a savvy lady. She's very savvy. She is smart. She does not usually fall for scams. She even posted in an author group saying, is this a scam? And what it was is it's a well-known podcast. It was not them. It was someone posing as a well-known podcast saying, hey, would you like to be on the show? And she's built her author name enough that it's not unlikely that she would be asked to be on this podcast. So she said, yes, absolutely, done her due diligence. And they say, great, we do all our events on Facebook Live. So we need to work with you to set up to give us access to your page for a Facebook Live and for events. And so they walked her through the steps of adding them to Facebook, giving them full control of what she thought was just an event page was her entire business manager on Facebook. So they then they took full control of her account. They kicked her off of it. They kicked her other admins like myself off of it. And then they were using her account. Supposedly, the idea for them usually is to then run ads on your ad account to their products and spend your money. They may be posting different products and things that they have an affiliate for, or that they're selling from your page. If you have a lot of different, if you have a large number of subscribers, which he does. So there's different things like that. But they took over the account, kicked her out. We're still in the process of trying to get this figured out with Facebook. If this happens to you, the best thing you can do is to immediately contact Facebook with dates when you suspect the activity happened, what happened. Also try to remove those people as quickly as possible. Now, in this case, they had gotten admin access, which is full access, and they had removed or downgraded everyone else very, very quickly. So there was no hope of that. We've gotten one of her pages back and not one of the others. So always act quickly, and again, going straight through the platform, and know that even really smart people, really savvy people fall for scams all the time. These scammers have gotten good. They have gotten really, really smart. So just keep your eye out. As always, did you go to them or did they come to you first? That's one of my earmarks for something that I'm always, careful about is, did they email you or contact you first, or did you reach out to them asking for a service? Because that's very different. Due diligence. Don't give people you don't know access to your social media accounts. Don't give them access to your bank account. Most social media accounts do have options to give like limited access where someone can post on your page, but they can't delete you from your page. different things like that. There are a lot of tools to use, but just be really wary and be wary of those emails again, because emails are where they get a lot of people. Because what they do is they have a link that they say, okay, we just need you to verify here. You click this link. The thing is that this link may lead you to a page that looks exactly like your Facebook login page, but they're tracking what you input for your password and your email. And so when that happens, they are then getting your login information and they are taking it, they're changing it, they're changing the contact information. So you're no longer getting the, reset requests and all the things. Not to scare you on this fine Friday morning, but I've just been seeing this happening a lot lately. And to people who, there are some of us that are more gullible than others. There are some of us who, a lot of scams, especially in the publishing industry, a lot of scams prey on authors' desire to have their book be popular, to have praise, to be successful. And a lot of scams prey on that. And some of them, they're just very, very good at what they do. So be aware of that. Be mindful of things that you're clicking on from unknown sources and who you give access to your accounts. It certainly is one of those things we just have to be wary of. All right, question from Marsha. I was traveling last week, so I missed. Did you answer my question about a first phase advertising strategy for a new title? Marsha, I don't even remember. I don't even remember what I did yesterday. I know I worked, but that's about it. It's been a heck of a week. So I'll answer it here. First phase, we very often will talk about marketing as kind of the launch phase and then the after launch phase, and this will look different. Now, your book launch may be when your book is first published, or it may be when you first start paying attention to it. There are a lot of authors who plan and plan and plan for publication, whether they're traditional or indie or hybrid, somewhere in between. There are a lot of authors who plan for the publication. They're in the edits, they're in the cover, they're ready for the book to come out. And then it's like, oh, it's out. No one's buying it, but I didn't market it. So now I need to do that. And sometimes this realization comes weeks later. Sometimes it comes launch day. And sometimes it happens even like a year later when someone comes to me and says, hey, Carrie, my book's been out for a year and it's only sold about 30 copies. And I know 20 people who bought it. And so we think of the book launch phase often as when it's published. And that's when we like for it to happen. Sometimes that doesn't happen though. And so when we are looking at publishing, when we are looking at marketing, it really works best when they work in tandem. When you have your publishing and your marketing going hand in hand. So typically start your marketing plan with your publishing. That is when it works best. And the best way to go about it is think about your launch. Now, your launch very often is going to be your big bang. This is where you tell your audience about your book. Friends, families, social media. This is where you may do like a pre-order campaign to try to hit bestseller lists in the categories on Amazon. This is where you may really start to think about building up a newsletter list so you have people to announce your book to. You may start thinking, wow, I should post on social media more than once a year, and that kind of thing. So that's the process of building up to your launch, is we're starting to think about how we're going to reach people. Now, as soon as your book launches, it's time to start thinking about long-term sales already. So once you've announced to everyone, you've done your pre-order, maybe you've done an ebook discount to kind of launch it, whatever it is you've done, it's time to think long-term about where sales are going to come from. Because if you're like me, you've got a limited number of friends who love you enough to buy your book. And after that, we have to think about, how am I going to reach readers I don't know? And that long-term strategy often is going to start with reviews. You've got to get reviews on your book because reviews provide social credibility. You can harness your friends and family and ask them for reviews. You can, I'd love if you write a review. I know you bought the book. Please write a review. But also going to readers and asking readers for reviews. So going to your newsletter, asking online. The goal at first is to get 15 reviews. 15 reviews is the magic number that Amazon has identified, many marketers have identified as the number when people finally start to trust those reviews and trust the product a little bit more. Once you have 15 reviews, you've kind of established that. Now, by the way, these are Amazon starred reviews or reviews that are on the Amazon platform for the most part, because that's where most books are sold. Trade reviews, professional reviews, also beautiful and wonderful. You don't need 15 of them. And those are used differently. They also don't count for that 15 number. You can't have like 10 starred Amazon reviews or ratings and then 5 trade or professional reviews. Nah, you need 15 Amazon reviews and then a couple of trade reviews from Kirkus, Book Life, different places like that would be fantastic, but they're kind of used in different ways. Once we get to the 15 reviews is when we start to think about marketing your book online, marketing to people you don't know. One of the best ways to do that is with paid advertising. I'm talking about Amazon ads is one of the easiest way because there's people on Amazon already browsing and looking for books. Social media ads can be a fantastic way to reach new readers. I know that a lot of people feel like Facebook is old, but I'll tell you what, I just refreshed a presentation I do on social media and confirmed that Facebook has not only the largest platform with the most members goes to Facebook. The most monthly active members goes to Facebook. The widest age range goes to Facebook. In fact, it actually kind of surprised me that if we look at Facebook in the age demographics, 55 plus, the largest group of 55 plus is hanging out on Facebook. A lot of people I've asked said they thought it might be LinkedIn. It's not, it's Facebook. LinkedIn actually has an average, like their main audience is 25 to 35. So that's something to think about. Facebook has literal like groups all from not so much teenage, it's actually the youngest in teenage. It's like less than 3% of teenagers have Facebook. I'll give you that. Anything from 20 up, though, there's really consistent users all the way through 55 plus. So it is a great place for most books to run ads and marketing. Thinking about things like, are you doing an ebook discount and using bargain Booksy and free Booksy and different things to reach new readers? Because as we get new readers, people talk about our book. The more readers we have, the more likely we are to get more reviews. The more reviews we have, the more legitimacy our book has and social credibility, to where more people are likely to convert from browser to buyer. It is like this endless cycle. And people ask me, okay, when can I stop? You can't stop. You don't stop marketing your book until you're ready to put your book on the shelf and say you're done with it. A book that's not marketed is a book that's not seen. A book that's not seen is a book that can't be bought. You have to keep on marketing or else it just kind of goes away. Those are kind of long-term strategies for how to reach books or, how to reach readers. Now, those trade reviews, the professional arena, you have approximately a year to 2 years is like the sweet spot to reach the trade. I'm talking about libraries. I'm talking about bookstores and schools and places like that. There are books that sell well beyond, but the sweet spot is going to be the first year or two. That's where your trade reviews come in. When you're pitching to libraries, when you're working with bookstores, if your book is set up for it. That means your book has to be available at Ingram, trade discount, fully returnable, or else bookstores aren't likely to going to want to work with you. But that reaches a different market. There's the online buyers, and then there are the people who use libraries, and there are a lot of them. There are the people who really love bookstores and that foot traffic. And again, the legitimacy of being placed in store. And so that's another avenue that you can start with launch, but it goes for, again, a year or two at minimum is what you're doing for your marketing there. For some people, if it's a nonfiction book, speaking is going to be the way that you sell your book. And setting up, what's your topic? Who are you speaking to? Who might be interested? For some people, it's going to be schools. So this is where it gets, not one size fits all. I firmly believe that there are a lot of great common marketing tactics and common places to sell books, but the way to get there is not the same for everybody. It really needs to be specific to you and your book. But these are some of the ways that we can reach people long term. First, we go to your warm audience, the people who know you, who love you, who you've already cultivated friendships with. And I did air quotes. I don't know why. Hopefully, friendships, yes, the people you have friendships with, or connections with, and you sell there. Then you start thinking of how to reach new people. And in the digital age, digital is really one of the best ways to reach people. Sometimes that's with publicity. Sometimes if you've got a good media tie-in, we've talked about that. We talked about that with PR by the book. Marika, where if you've got a tie-in for media or holiday or something, that's how you can reach people. And that is, I don't want to say it's evergreen, but it's something that your book just has to tie into a current event in a way that is newsworthy. And that's when you reach out that way. So establish your base, then spread your net, spread your audience, and start collecting too. This is why I often will talk about your social media is fantastic, but building your email list, your contact base is so crucial to the success of not just your book now, because if they've already bought your book, they're not going to buy it again, but they may talk about it. They may remember you when you send them a newsletter, but also it is crucial to your next book or next project. And hopefully you do have a next book or a next project that you can then, work towards getting out. So absolutely do that. And hopefully that answers your question there. This question I'd forgotten what I got in this one. I've gotten a question here. Let me just tie back into here. Let's see. Over the years, I've tried everything. I mean, everything. I was always told, don't buy or pay for reviews. This week, I decided to use bloggers from Instagram, Reels, post, etc. I spent a lot, but live and learn. So you can't technically, this is one of those fine lines in Amazon's terms of service, but you cannot pay someone to review your book in the sense that you cannot say, hey, if you read my book or if you post a 5-star review, I'll give you $20. This is not allowed. It's against Amazon's terms of service. You can pay for someone to talk about you on their platform and do a sponsored content. That's allowed. You can, they can review your book to their audience on their platform or on a social media platform. You cannot pay for Amazon reviews. So again, it depends on what your goal is. There are a lot of like not ebooks, a lot of blogs, TikTokers, different things like that, where you can do a blog tour, but a lot of time you're going to pay, not necessarily to be on their platform, but for the person organizing it, sometimes to be on specific people's platforms, or sometimes they'll say, yeah, I will do it if you give me a PR book box or something of that nature, which is a form of payment. But you're paying to be featured on their platform, not for Amazon ads. So that's a little bit different. And again, you have to be very careful with this. There are a lot of people will say, oh, I'll put your book up on my Instagram and look, I have thousands and thousands of followers. And then you look at their posts and they have no engagement, or you look at their posts and they do have like thousands of likes where they probably threw up an ad for that, but it didn't really generate into anything, because if they're not building a audience of avid readers, like a book blogger who's doing this regularly, then it's not going to get you much. So again, it's all about what you need, what your goals are, what you have to spend, the time and, elbow grease you're willing to put into it, and all of those things. The no natural engagement is usually a no for me. I don't find that there's a return on it, but again, to each their own. I try to say this often, and I hope you all know, I don't care how you market. Well, I mean, legally, within legal bounds and morality, I don't care how you market your book. I don't care how you publish your book. I care that whatever you go into, you go in with your eyes wide open. If you are paying to publish your book and you know that and it meets the goal you have, I don't care. If you are paying to have your book featured on a famous TikToker's platform, but you know what you're paying for and what the risk is, I don't care. I care that you are informed, that you know what you're paying for, you know the risks, and you know what you're getting into. That's what I care. And I care that you know what your options are, that there are options that don't cost you an arm and a leg. There are options for self-publishing instead of vanity publishing. There are options for all sorts of things. That's what I care. Now, if you say, great, Carrie, I understand that I could self-publish and own everything, and that's what you recommend, but I just want to get my memoir out before, before I have grandkids because I want a book to hand to them. And I'm going to go pay whatever it is over here to do that. If your eyes are open and you know what you're getting into, I don't care. It's your option. It's your book, and you're getting it in your hands in a way that fits you, your needs, and your goals. So that's what I care about. And the same goes for marketing. There's a lot of different things you can do for marketing. I share some of the ways that I have found to be successful, that I like the most, that I recommend. But that doesn't mean that just because I don't recommend it or do it, it doesn't mean it doesn't fit your goals. And so that's valid as well. I mean, it's just one of those things. And that is, you know, uh, eyes wide open, know your options. That's my goal for you and for this platform here, is that we share that with you. Let me see. Anna's question. 2 years ago, I bought a full package from a company, but after paying in full, I came across weird reviews on them failing with deep editing and in paying commissions to authors. I think you mean royalties to authors, probably. Basically, they're being labeled as sort of scammers. I haven't finished my book yet, but I am there. I am now scared on finding another self-publishing company or to hire directly through Reedsy or Kirkus Review Editing, et cetera, et cetera. Are you going nuts? You're not nuts, Anna. I promise you're not nuts. I don't know if you got your money back from the other company and however that worked out, but there are a lot of companies that do fantastic work. There are hybrid publishers that truly partner with you. They are selective in the books they choose. They take part of the risk in publishing, and you take part of the risk in publishing, and together you put your book out. And one of the best ways to find some of those companies I recommend is you go through IBPA. There are vetted publishers there in that association. They also have, I would have to find it because I know I don't have it up on my screen. There is a hybrid publisher checklist of things that you should ask and know about a hybrid publisher before you work with them. Hybrid, let me see if I can find them. Because they have this hybrid publishing checklist. They have this really wonderful checklist, and it's free and it's available, and it's at IBPA. Here we go. IBPA hybrid publisher criteria. They have this beautiful download, and it's free. And I recommend that you look into that if you are planning. I'm going to drop it in the chat for anyone who's here with us live on Zoom. For anyone who is not here live on Zoom, you can either do what I did and Google IBPA hybrid publisher criteria checklist and it will pop up, or you can go to ibpa-online.org/page/hybrid publisher. And you can find it that way. And I recommend that you do this. The other things that you can do is ask for recommendations, be in author groups, ask for people who have worked with different people. I will tell you that 90% of the clients that I work with come because I've either worked with them before or someone has recommended me to them and worked as a reference for me. And because they know someone who has used my services and has used New Shelves, then there's already some trust built into there. There are also ways of going through places like Reedsy. When you work directly through Reedsy, they actually act as a go-between, so they mediate any issues there might be. It's not fail-proof, but it does help. Again, recommendations are one of the best ways. No, pay with a credit card if there's a problem. Oftentimes you can report to your credit card and get your money back. Look at reviews, ask for references, look at past work that they've done, ask a lot of questions. I have some people who ask me a ton of questions before we work together. And I don't mind. I don't mind sending them, as much as I can and is reasonable. I don't mind sending it to them because I understand that there are a lot of scammers out there and your book is something precious to you. So yes, be careful, be smart. If you're looking for an editor, going and looking for people who are registered with the EFA is one of the ways to kind of look for vetted services. Ally, Alliance of Independent Authors, service providers and hybrid publishers can register through them, IBPA. Lots of different places to vet. If you need recommendations, New Shelves has a People We Like page. If you reach out to me, I'm happy to give you recommendations. New Shelves does offer some connections and services for those who choose to self-publish but need project management. And of course, we work on book marketing and launches. So you have so many options that are, again, they're not fail-proof, but at least they're much more safe and hopefully more comfortable for you. And there are ways to help vet people, and I'm happy to help you find them where I can. It's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate, again, about this platform and Free Advice Friday, answering questions, but also about I make recommendations with no affiliate. Now, I do sometimes do affiliate programs for different programs, like I do Publisher Rocket for Kindle Printer and different things like that. But I do not pay out affiliates for people who recommend New Shelves as a service because I want to secure trust. And I also don't accept payouts for people who I recommend. So if I am recommending, a publisher or something like that, I don't get any kickback from them because I want to make sure that I deserve the trust that's placed in me. And so that's one of the things I think that look for that, ask questions. Hopefully that helps. And if you need more resources, just reach out to me and I'll try to get those for you. Agents. The way agents work is that if you would like to get an agent for a book, your book needs to be unpublished, number one. Number two, well, in very, very rare cases, I have to go back. In very, very rare cases, a agent will take a self-published title and they will then get it to be republished with a bigger publisher. Very, very rare cases. This has to be something that's built up an audience that has more meat on the bone, that's sold probably 5 to 10,000 copies and has more of a series or something coming working off of it. It does not happen often. And usually it happens because someone's made it big and then publishers take note rather than someone going after an agent or a publisher after they've published their book. So in most cases, agents are looking for unpublished titles. You have to do your research of agents who are accepting submissions in your genre. Once you have that list, and places like Query Tracker are really helpful for that. You can also look on Publishers Marketplace, social media. There is a lot of people on Twitter, and Threads is pretty popular for agents as well. So you can look in different ways like that. As far as pitching agents, you have to pitch them. And please know that agents get a lot, and I mean a lot of emails. I am friends with a number of agents. And when I say they get a lot of emails, they will open up submissions for a month-long period and get 500 to 800 submissions easily in a month. So know that it takes a long time for them to go through. So when you're pitching to an agent, you first need to research and find the agents that are a good fit for your book and for your genre. Then you have to essentially create a pitch letter selling them on why they want to be your agent, why they want to partner with you to try to find a publisher to sell your book. And then you have to pitch them. Then you have to wait for them to reply. This process very often will take anywhere from 3 months to a year, because just because you pitch them doesn't mean they'll take your book. It doesn't mean that they'll even respond. So you're pitching multiple agents at a time typically, and it can take a very long time. And that will it just kind of depends on how that works out. Now, if you get an agent, you do not pay an agent. Very important. You are not paying an agent. The way it works is you're partnering with an agent. An agent agrees to represent you, and then they will help you get your book in ship shape, and then they will start pitching it to publishers with the understanding that if they get you a contract, if they get you a publishing deal, that they will get a percentage of whatever you earn. Very often it's 15% is what they earn. So if you earn from a publisher $1,000 in advance and then a 10% royalty, then the way it works is that of that $1,000, the agent gets 15%. They get $150. And then of the royalties, once you've earned out the advance, meaning you've sold enough books to earn back that $1,000 in royalties, then you get, let's just call it 10% royalties because you guys know me in math, 10% royalties. So if your 10% comes out to $1 per book, then the agent gets 15% of that per book. So they are getting paid when you get paid based on your book doing well. And that's how they partner with you. You don't pay them up front. And that's why they're so picky. That's why they're only taking books they think they can sell and make money on. It really is a business transaction. So that's one of the things to kind of consider there. Let's see. Kevin, I thought Threads was a dud. Is it? So Threads is not a dud. Here's the thing about Threads. And again, I just did this whole social media presentation. So I did a deep dive into a lot of statistics. Threads is not a dud. A lot of the literary and book community is kind of split because Twitter was very, very popular for the book community, for agents and publishers and authors. Very, very popular. But then with some things that happened when it moved from Twitter to X and all the things that went with it, they was split. Some people went off Twitter. They weren't getting any engagement anymore. It just wasn't working for them. And Instagram, Meta, really, who owns Facebook and Instagram, created Threads. Threads has a logo that looks a lot like Instagram, and it works essentially like Twitter works. It works on ongoing involvement. Typically, you need to post somewhere between like 4 to 6 times a day is really what you need to post on Threads to get good engagement and following. It's very AI driven to know what to show you and that kind of thing. And when we actually look at the split of authors and publishers and people, it's about split for Twitter and Threads now. When we look at the most popular topics that were talked about on Threads, one of the most popular top 3 topics that were talked about in 2023 was books. So there are agents going over to Threads. Jane Friedman has kind of moved over to Threads, and she was like known for being on Twitter. I would not say that marketing and promoting your book on Threads is where I would go. Honestly, I don't think that readers are necessarily hot on Threads, but I will say that the book community, as far as agents, publishers, writers trying to get agents, is still pretty hot on Threads. And so if that's you, that may be where you want to go. Twitter is not gone, X, whatever you want to call it. It's not gone. In fact, it's still really relevant. More men than women. It is a lot of news and sports and gaming are the top like 3 topics that are on Twitter. So it's not gone. It's not as useful as it was in certain ways. And definitely Threads is in our market for publishing anyway. It is still very much used. The initial engagement on Threads, which spiked right away, has kind of fallen down a little bit, but it's still remaining pretty consistently strong as people decide if they like it or not. Which is better for nonfiction, X or Threads? I think it depends what kind of nonfiction. Again, if you are writing in sports, news, or newsworthy information, or gaming, I would be on X because those are the topics being talked about. Threads still does nonfiction. I would say it tends to be more of that prescriptive self-help nonfiction. And again, people writing, not necessarily readers. I will say that if you're trying to market a book for readers, I would be over on Facebook because that's where the most people are and that's where the broadest range is. But you need to know your book, you need to know your audience, and who that is and who you're marketing to. What age range. Again, LinkedIn is actually mostly 25 to 35-year-olds. So if your nonfiction book can be tied into the workplace at all, if it's about empowerment, if it's about entrepreneurship, or a lot of self-help topics, they can do really, really well over on LinkedIn. It just depends. So that's why we need to know our book. We need to know our general market and audience so we know where to spend our time online. But no, Threads is not dead. I just had the best dad joke. I can't even say it without laughing, but Threads is not dead. It's still hanging on by a thread. Don't leave. Don't leave. You can laugh at me, but you cannot leave. All right. Next question here. Um, Facebook ads subtopic. What is the relationship between the number of followers we have on our Facebook author business page and the effectiveness of meta ads we pay for? I have about 10 times as many followers at my personal Facebook page compared to my Facebook author page. In the last year, I found my Facebook author page has a super low reach unless I boost it, which I don't do since I create meta ads instead. In other words, if I have more Facebook author page followers, does that significantly extend the reach of meta ads that I pay for? No, it does not. That's a very good question. So many of us will have more followers on our personal Facebook page than we do on our Facebook business page. The reason being is because we probably started with a personal page back in like 2009, when Facebook was brand new. And so we've been building and connecting with people on our Facebook personal page for years. It's also easier to connect with people personally than it is for a product, a brand, or to sell something. So our Facebook pages often are started later and they're harder to get people to engage on. So why don't we just use our Facebook personal pages? Why even create a business page? Well, to run ads, you have to have a business page. So this is one of the reasons why we do it. Also, if you are constantly marketing yourself, your product, your books, chances are that your personal page engagement will go down because people don't want to be sold to all the time. They want to know about you. This is why I do have, regardless of if you're using a personal page or a business page, I have an 80-20 rule. 80% of your content should be fun, engaging, personal, informative, helpful. 20% should be about your product or what you're selling. That way you're engaging, and then you're just working in what you're selling or your book, in the meantime. This is how we get more engagement. But we have to have a business page because this is how we run ads. And so that business page is necessary. We do want to build it up because it legitimizes it, just like reviews help legitimize and give social credibility to a book. Followers helps do that for Facebook. Now, the thing with Facebook is that, yes, you get more engagement on a business page when you pay to boost posts to see so more people see it. That's because you're literally paying to get in front of people. But as far as the number of followers, the more followers you have, the more chance of people engaging with your content naturally, the higher percentage of people will see your Facebook. So it's kind of like this, if this happens and this happens and this happens. So on Facebook, if I have 500 followers and I'm posting, let's say I'm posting once a week, maybe 5 people are going to see it. It's probably not going to do very much unless I'm paying for an ad. If I have 500 followers on Facebook and I am posting 1 to 2 times a day, I'm using the 80-20 rule. I'm engaging people. I'm doing personal photos. I'm doing interesting or helpful things. Well, then what happens is if those 5 people consistently interact with my post, Facebook's going to say, people like this. We should show it to more people. And it's going to start showing it to their contacts, friends, and family, as well as to more people on your page. Then 10 people are interacting, and Facebook says, ooh, this is good. They're still interacting. They're getting people to stay on our Facebook platform. And the AI algorithms, they really like that. So then more people show. So there is value to having more followers because that is how you get more engagement. Now, it's only a piece of it, though. It's not enough. I know people who have thousands and thousands of followers on a page and no interaction because they don't post regularly enough to appease those algorithms. So that's something that must be considered. But also, does it help with your ads? Yes and no, but let me explain why. your ads are pay to play. When you're doing ads, and Meta ads, by the way, are utilizing Facebook. And if you've connected Instagram to your Facebook business page, then Instagram as well. It is pay to play in the sense that um, you are paying to reach more people. Now, depending on your settings on your ad may be to show to your followers, and you're paying to make sure that your post is shown to all of your followers. Your ad may be set to be advantage, where Facebook kind of decides who they think would interact with the content. They show it that way. It may be set up so that you are so you're reaching a specific audience. For example, I do a lot of book ads. A lot of my ads are targeted to readers. They're targeted to people who follow Goodreads and BookBub and have a Kindle device, and maybe they read women's fiction or historical fiction. And I'm focused on those people, and I am paying to get in front of those people specifically. Meta is not going to give my ad more reach because I have more followers. They're going to give my ad more reach if I'm reaching the right target. So if people are clicking and responding, Meta says people like this, they show it to more people. Let's also remember that when people click, like, and comment, the people that they interact with are more likely to see our ad. That is why it's not necessarily the number of followers that will get further reach on ads. Although if you are running an ad to reach your own followers, that's when it matters. Because if you have 500 followers, 5,000 followers, obviously this is going to make a difference. As far as ads, we want highly engaging ads. This is why when running ads, I very often will use memes or stock photos because they get people to stop and interact. I have many, many ads where they are not, it's not a picture of the book. It's a picture or a meme that ties into one of the topics of the book. And we say, wow, isn't this funny? If you love this, then you'll really love my book on this. And then we link to the book in there. We are using other media that is getting engagement. And I'm able to get clicks and engagement for a cent per click, thousands and thousands of interactions. And those actions are driving the algorithm and the AI to get more interactions in algorithm so that that post gets seen even more. Now, it's not the person's book cover, but it is their content. And if someone interacts with your ad or any piece of your content, they are more likely to see other posts that you make, which again goes back to why it's important to post regularly on your social media platforms. Because a way to make your ads go further is to post other content that will show up in their feed because they interacted with your ad. So it is a tangled web in here, but that is just a little piece of how the algorithm and the ads work. It's one of, I love running ads because it has data, and you guys know I'm not a numbers girl, but I really do love looking at the data and seeing what it says. And it's like part numbers, which is meh, but then like the psychology behind it is fascinating to me. And when we follow that is usually when we find what works, what doesn't, what gets people's attention. Are we getting the attention of the right people who will convert into a sale, or are we just getting people who are interested in this meme and not the overall topic? And so many different things you can dive into. So sorry, I went through a bunny trail, but I got excited and I couldn't help it. And yes, reels and videos can be very good for book ads. In fact, videos do trend better on social media overall. I know I have lots of social media questions. One of the things that I did is when I was updating all my social media information for the presentation I just did, I'm also updating the social media guide that New Shelves has. So I'm putting that together. So we'll have a brand new updated social media guide. Which I will totally provide a free link for anyone on Free Advice Friday when I'm ready to get that out. So when I'm ready, when I've got it all finished, got to make sure I got all my details right. I will make sure I get you guys a free copy of that. All right, guys, I do have to run. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of our crew. We will be back next Friday, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern. If you have questions, you can ask them live or just email them in to info@newshelves.com. I will save them up. That way I can get them answered for you on our call. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. Have a great weekend, and I will catch you all next week. Bye, guys.